GETTYThe Fuhrer planned to hold court at the spectacular Grand Hotel in Scarborough in the 1940s. The cliff-top hotel was destined to become the headquarters of the Third Reich, guarded by stormtroopers. Scarborough's famous spa waters were to be piped to Hitler's bathroom, and he planned to waltz his lover Eva Braun around the ballroom. Newly found official documents have revealed that Luftwaffe pilots faced a court-martial if they dropped a single bomb on Hitler's desired future address. Since the 1860s, the Grand had become one of Britain's poshest hotels, having survived devastating shelling by the German Navy in the First World War. In Hitler's day, it was the biggest hotel and the largest brick structure in Europe, with 12 floors and 365 rooms. The Grand was also a longtime favorite of the ruling classes and royalty, including Edward VIII. So, as Britain shuddered under the Blitz, Hitler gave strict orders to Hermann Göring, his second-in-command, that the hotel was not to be touched. And when the Luftwaffe launched its fiercest attack on Scarborough in March 1941, the Air Marshal obeyed his orders. The resort was left in Ames after the pounding, which saw 28 deaths and 1,400 buildings destroyed and damaged. Many of the targets were RAF billets because the town had been taken over to train cadets. Since the 1860s, the Grand had become one of Britain's poshest hotels. Even though the Grand Hotel was not targeted, the building's 4 turrets, built to represent each season, had each been armed with anti-aircraft guns. Cadets manned the battery, but they were puzzled why the enemy was not returning fire there. Historian Mike Covell believes Hitler earmarked the hotel as his HQ because of its luxurious trappings and strategic location during the planned invasion, as well as landings on the south coast. The Nazis also intended to launch an offensive against the more lightly defended east coast. The aim was to capture Hull as a port and drive across the north to Liverpool, creating a wedge to cut the country in two. But Mr. Covell says Hitler had underestimated the fighting spirit of the Home Guard. He discovered a reference to a speech made at the Grand in 1954 about Hitler's plans to turn it into a new Reich chancellery. He said, "It seemed astonishing, but the more I looked into it, the more it made sense. After all, Hitler's fondness for English seaside towns was well known." He had also planned a victory parade in Scarborough. At the time, the Grand was being advertised as the largest and handsomest hotel in Europe, Mr. Covell added. GETTYThe Grand was also a longtime favorite of the ruling classes and royalty. It cost an absolute fortune to build, £100,000 at the time, which would be the equivalent of around £11.5 million nowadays. Hitler was denied his prize, but wartime Prime Minister Winston Churchill was later welcomed there at a Tory party conference. During the 70s, the hotel became part of Butlins. It has since been sold on and undergone a refurbishment.